Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to our respected lecturer, Ms. Nurihan, and all fellow friends. Today, my group will present about environmental issue. So, there are four issues that we want to discuss. The first is food waste, second air pollution, and then solid waste, and the last is water pollution. So, the first issues will be presented by Isma.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Isma Alisha binti Iskandar, and today I want to talk about environmental issue under food waste. Okay, we go to the first slide. The first slide is about definition of food waste. Food waste is food that is not eaten. Removal of food from the food supply chain, which is or was at some point fit for human consumption, or which has spoiled or expired, mainly caused by economic behavior, poor stock management or neglect. The causes of food waste is numerous and occur throughout the food system, during production, processing, distribution, retail and consumption. For the second slide is about factors driving food waste. The first one is over-merchandising. Crafting beautiful display with overflowing vessels and crates, the appearance of abundance in an effort to increase sales and customer satisfaction. What's often ignored is its link to increased food waste. The second one is overproduction. A lack of visibility into how much of a given food item is often consumed keeps kitchen producing amounts that they believe are appropriate, but are actually more than what is needed. The third one is customer choices. Conventional wisdom tells us that providing convention service and a wide array of menu options are two great methods for pleasing customer. But when operation maintain the same service and selection from open to close, waste is created. Next, everything that you need to know about food waste. Wasting food is bad for the environment, including the climate. We waste about a third of all food produced for human consumption. This wasted food has taken lots of fresh water, land, and labor to produce. If it were a country, food waste would be the third highest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world, but we keep throwing perfectly good food away. Over 10 million tons of food are burned each year in the UK. That is the picture of facts about food waste. Okay, next we go to the 5 ways food waste in destroying our beautiful planet. First is eat waste water. In throwing out millions of tons of food, we also waste uncounted millions of gallons of water that was used to plant, grow, sustain, or otherwise produce it. Next is eat, release, maintain. Much methane as well as other adversely effective gases has already been released in the production process. So, the wasted food is now adding to that. The third one is eat waste oil. Wasting fuel and oil both at the front production and the back decomposition, and by not eating the food we purchase has a hidden but costly impact on the environment. Next, eat waste land. The land used for retaining food that has been thrown out, so the irresponsible use of food products has an adverse impact on the physical land itself. Next is it harm biodiversity. Deforestation, especially in tropical areas, destroy natural flora and fauna in the name of creating more land for food production. The next slide is the ways to reduce food waste. First, only buy what you need. We can use the simple grammar trick that can help us stay focused when shopping for food include. Prepare a meal plan for a week. Second is use a shopping list, nothing the amounts required. Third is factor in potential eating out occasions. Okay, the next way is use what you have. Check what's in the fridge and cupboards regularly and use up food nearing their expiry dates. Second one is rotate food store when fresh groceries arrive so that those with nearer expiry dates are closer and visible. The third one is combine any vegetable left into a clean out the fridge pot of pasta, soup, omelette or stir fry. We get to enjoy a new recipe and avoid throwing out good food. Next is freeze food before each date. Frozen fruits can make a nice addition to smoothie. For the last ways is avoid serving too much. Here are some simple practices that can help. First is serve small portions and come back for seconds rather than scraping excess food from our plates into the bin. Use leftover for lunch on the next day. Freeze for later for tastiest result. Frozen leftover should be used within 3 months. Not enough leftover for a whole meal, so we can mix and match from different meals, add some salads or bread, and a feast appears before us. That's all from me, thank you.
Okay, next is air pollution. So what is air pollution? Air pollution can be defined as an alteration of air quality that can be characterized by measurements of biological, chemical, or physical pollutants in the air. Therefore, air pollution means the undesirable presence of impurities of the abnormal rise in the proportion of some constituents of the atmosphere. It can be classified into two sections, visible and invisible air pollution. So, what are the activities that contribute to this pollution? So there are 3 types on my slide. So the first one is combustion of fossil fuels like coal and oil for electricity. Second, road transport also contributes pollutants like nitrogen and sulfur dioxide. So in second point is emission from industries and factories release large amount of toxic gas. For example, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon chemicals and organic compounds into the air. So the third one is agricultural activities, because these activities use lots of pesticides, insecticides and fertilizer that emit harmful chemicals. So we go to the effects of air pollution on human being and also our surrounding. So firstly, it affects the plant. How can air pollution affect the plant? So air pollution has a major impact on the process of plant evolution, for example, by preventing the photosynthesis process. So it also contributes to the formation of acid rain. For example, it can be any form, such as rain, frost, snow or fog, which are released during the combustion of fossil fuels and transformed by contact with water steam in the atmosphere. So next effect is global warming and climate change, because air pollution is one of the most major contributor to global warming and climate change happen. So in fact, the abundance of carbon dioxide in the air is one of the causes of the greenhouse effect. So greenhouse gases is beneficial for the planet because they absorb the infrared radiation produced by the surface of the Earth. So the excessive concentration of gases in the atmosphere is the cause of the recent climate change. The third is it can affect the human being. So air pollution can risk human health condition. For example, it can cause allergies, respiratory problems and cardiovascular disease as well as lung damage. So we proceed to the few steps that we can take or government can make to reduce air pollution, or we can reduce the effect of air pollution to our society. So the first one is renewable fuel and clean energy production. So the most basic solution for air pollution is to move away from fossil fuels and replacing them with alternative energies like solar, wind, and geothermal. So the second is energy conservation and energy efficiency. So producing clean energy is crucial, but it is equally important to reduce our consumption of energy by adopting responsible habits and using more efficient devices. So the third one is eco-friendly transportation. For example, we can shifting from using fuels, we can shift into electric vehicles and hydrogen vehicles, or we can promote shared mobility, for example, carpooling and public transport. These kind of steps can reduce air pollution or toxic gas that released to the air. So the fourth is green building. From planning to demolition, green building aims to create environmentally responsible and resource-efficient structures to reduce their carbon footprint. That's all from me. Next will be...
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Kamila Izzati binti Musa. So today I want to talk about solid waste management. Solid waste management is the collecting, treating and disposing of solid material that is discarded because it has served its purpose or is no longer useful. Improper disposal of beneficial solid waste can create unsanitary conditions, and this condition in turn can lead to pollution of the environment and to outbreak of vector-borne disease. Factors affecting solid waste management. First is attitude towards pollution at the source, which is waste, where people lack of awareness to spread their waste. Second is behavior regarding reduce, reuse and recycling, where people not applying the correct method to manage their waste. And lastly, willingness to pay and improve service of solid waste management. They are not willing to pay for the services because they are unaware how poor management of solid can affect their life. The effects of poor management of solid waste is soil contamination, water contamination, climate change, air contamination, and it can harm animals and marine life and human damage. These are ways on how to improve solid waste management. First is use correct method of managing solid waste, such as 5R, which are reuse, recycle, reject, repair and reduce. Second is planning a strategic plan that is easier to apply by the society. Third is take collaborative approach, such as public-private partnerships for management planning, that the main objective of the program is to promote sustainable self-supported partners between business and local government to support the formation and operation of new enterprise beneficial cooperation in solid waste management and recycling system. The fourth is action for local government. Local government must provide recycling service that sustain all parts of the cycle, not just the collection. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, now I will explain about water pollution. Water pollution is the contaminations of water bodies like oceans, seas, lake, river and groundwater, usually caused due to human activities. Water pollution is any change in the physical, chemicals or biological properties of water that will have a detrimental consequence of any living organisms. Cause. Water is uniquely vulnerable to pollutions, known as a universal solvent. Water is able to dissolve more substance than any other liquid on earth. It's the reasons we have cooled it and brilliant blue waterfalls. It also why water is so easily polluted. Toxic substance from farms, towns and factories readily dissolve into a mix with it, causing water pollution. Source. Have 4, which is domestic waste, industrial effluents, detergent and fertilizers, and insecticides and pesticides. Next is effects. The first one is disease. In humans, drinking or consuming polluted water in any ways has many disastrous effects on our health. It causes typhoid, cholera, hepatitis, and various other diseases. The next effect is destructions of ecosystem. Ecosystems are extremely dynamic and respond to even small change in the environment. Water pollution can cause an entire ecosystem to collapse if left unchecked. Next is eutrophication. Chemicals in a water body encourage the growth of algae. These algae form a layer on top of the ponds or lake. Bacteria feed on these algae and this decreases the amounts of oxygen in the water body, severely affecting the aquatic life there. The last one is affect the food chain. Disruptions in food chain happen when toxins and pollutants in the water are consumed by aquatic animals. Example, fish, shellfish, which are then consumed by humans. The last one is preventions. Okay, first one is conserve water by turning off the tap when running water is not necessary. This help prevent water shortage and reduce the amounts of contaminated water that needs treatments. Second is be careful about what you throw down your sink or toilet. Don't throw paints, oil or other form of litter down the drains. Use environmentally household products such as washing powder, household cleaning agents, and toiletries. Third, by having more plants in your gardens, you are preventing fertilizers, pesticides, and contaminated water from running off into nearby water source. The last one is don't throw litter in river, lake, or oceans. Help clean up any litter you can see on beach or in river and lake. Make sure it is safe to collect the litter and put it in nearby dustbin.